Good afternoon. Welcome to Dialogue with Deidre. I'm your host, Deidre Malone. You know, it's been a minute since we've been on air, and I'm so glad to have a couple of guests in the studio today to talk about scholarships. Western Governors University. We're going to talk to the Chancellor. She's here in the studio with me today. And then a graduate and a scholarship recipient for the 10K scholarship, I believe. And if that's not right, we're going to learn what it is here on Dialogue with Deidre. You can ask questions by going to the Dialogue with Deidre Facebook page and post a question. And while my guests are here, we'll check out that post and we'll be able to ask them those questions. You can email me if there is a topic that you're interested in learning more about. We will entertain it and see if we want to have a guest on the show at some point in the near future. But we're so glad that you're here with us today. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll begin our dialogue. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.
Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. Their licensed professional pharmacists provide excellent service while filling your wellness needs. They have $4 generic plans and they accept all major insurance providers. And they even offer free delivery for senior citizens. At Taylor Brown, they pride themselves on the personal care and attention they give every customer. Ask about their uninsured discount pharmacy program. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. They're located 3333 Shelby Drive. Give them a call today at 901-794-3690 or visit them online, TaylorBrownGroup.com. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore.
I like to ride my bike to get some exercise, just kind of clear my head.
I like to ride because it's really fun for me and my fiance to go ride together.
I started riding my bike as a way to save money on gas.
I like to ride my bike mostly because it's fun and it's good exercise.
That's how I get everywhere. It's how I go to grocery stores, go to work. It's how I go to my friend's house.
Sometimes I just like to not even have a particular destination in mind, just to see different parts of the city.
Just going through the park, you know, you see people, and if you're on your bike, you can smile or say hello.
I own 5 bikes. The green Schwinn is my grandfather's bike, and every time I ride it, and he can be with me where I go.
I'm not burning gas, I'm not polluting the air. And you know, in a way, it kind of gets me back to the kid in me, which is kind of cool.
This presentation gives some recaps of the reopening weekend for the National Civil Rights Museum. In 2013 and 2014, the National Civil Rights Museum underwent a $27.5 million renovation to further support its mission of education, information, and inspiration.
This is such an important day for the National Civil Rights Museum because on the site of a great crucifixion has been a great resurrection. And twice over, because we did that first in 1991, and now we have a new National Civil Rights Museum where we hear voices of everyday people, so many more than most people have ever known, and many that people have forgotten about. So this museum stands as a testament to those voices and those people, and to the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Welcome back to Dialogue with Deidre. Higher education. You know, you may be out of the market for a while and maybe want to, gain some advancement in the workplace. Have you thought about going back to school? Well, we have the Chancellor of Western Governors University in the studio, Dr. Kim Estep. Welcome back to Dialogue with Deidre.
Thank you so much for having me back.
And look, it's always good to have a student,
It is.
as a testimonial. So Evans Duvall, welcome to Dialogue with Deidre.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get started. Let's start talking. Western Governors University, how long has it been around?
Well, Western Governors University nationally has been around since 1997, but it's still not yet 20 years old. In the state of Tennessee, we launched WGU Tennessee 3 years ago in July of 2013, and since that time we have grown from having just a few hundred students to now we have over 2,500 students just in Tennessee.
That's wonderful.
So we're really excited about that.
And so the breakdown, is it the majority of the students undergraduate or graduate students?
About 75% of our students are undergraduate, and about 25% are seeking a master's degree. We only offer the bachelor's and the master's, but it breaks down about 3/4 of them are undergraduate. Usually they'll come to us with some college. Some of them come to us with an associate degree, but some of them will come and just have maybe a semester's worth of credit.
Okay.
And we'll transfer that credit in and put them on a pathway to complete the baccalaureate. And then just like Evans, we have some students who come in and do their undergraduate degree with us and like the model so well, they stay and also do a graduate program with us.
So Evans, talk to me about, how did you hear about WGU?
Actually, I heard about WGU through radio.
Okay.
I often listen to sports talk.
Advertising works.
Yes, it does. And driving in one morning, I heard the initial commercials, which were back in the summer of 2013. Started exploring it, then heard it again. I would always miss part of the commercial, and I'm like, okay, so let me see what this is all about, right? Finally, one evening, I was driving home listening to sports talk, and I heard the entire commercial, and I'm like, you know what? It's been 20 years. It's time. So I explored WGU through the website, got in touch with a admissions counselor, and now I'm here.
So is it more so, did you want to do it for career advancement or just for your own personal gratification to say, I went back and I finished and got my bachelor's degree?
It was, at the time, my middle son was in the 12th grade. My oldest son had graduated the year previously, and I'm like, I can't really just tell them to get your education if I didn't finish.
Okay.
So my goal was, okay, I'm gonna beat y'all.
That was like a true parent. I understand that.
So it was just time, and I figured, hey, I need to get out here and finish up my degree as well.
Okay, and so it's my understanding that you're, and the Chancellor here is going to tell us about the scholarship program, but it's my understanding that you decided to go back and work on your master's after your graduation.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so did you get a scholarship for that, or, because college education is expensive.
Right. Initially, I did not. I actually started my master's program and hoped that I would apply or receive one of the scholarships I'd applied for. I applied for several, and I was about 3 classes in when I was notified that, yay, you got the Tennessee 10K.
And I'm sure you were like, yay.
Yeah. I was like, thank you, Jesus.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Dr. Estep, tell me about the scholarship program.
Okay. Well, we offer a lot of scholarships through WGU Tennessee. And
but is it the 10K? That's
the one
that
Evans won last year was our first launch of what's called the 10K scholarship. So you got it right.
I did it
And
right.
it's a little bit of a play on the name of our state, Tennessee, and a little bit of a play on, say a mid-level race, like a 10K race, which is not a sprint. It's not a marathon. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. And it's also a play on the fact that the scholarship is worth $10,000.
That's a lot of money. Is that total scholarship?
Total scholarship.
Okay.
But if for a student that would take 2 years, and we cost about $6,000 a year,
and that's not
who
bad.
would utilize the scholarship over 4 terms, which would be pretty average in that case, this would cover about 83% of the cost.
Oh, that's not
so
bad
it
at
is
all.
the largest scholarship we've ever offered in the state of Tennessee, and we gave 5 10K scholars recognized around the state last year, and we have the scholarship open right now.
Oh, wonderful.
It's open. It started January 1st. It's open through the end of March, and we'll have another group of awardees. But we offer scholarships year-round, so I would tell folks, if this scholarship is not for you, or if the timing is not right for you, you can always go to our website, and we also have a Tennessee WGU website. It's tennessee.wgu.edu, and search under scholarships and financial aid, and we just keep an updated list all the time. We run some scholarship programs just for nurses who want to go back and finish their BSN. We run some for IT. We run some for aspiring teachers. We run some that are focused on a certain part of the state. So we ran a scholarship program last year with Leadership Memphis.
Wonderful.
Where we really focused on Shelby County. And we closed that scholarship in December, but we'll probably reopen it in the spring.
Good.
So really, any time is a good time to come back. And we are dedicated to affordable education for working adults. So we will always have scholarships out there. But the big one is open till March 31st.
Okay, and that's the 10K.
10K.
Scholarship.
That's right.
So how many people normally apply for the scholarships?
Well, they can range. We've had some scholarships where we might only have 20 or 30 people applying for a particular scholarship. The 10K, because it is so large, last year we had 180 applicants who applied just for that one scholarship. So it was very selective.
So Evans is special.
He is very special. I can't even tell you how special he is. And was our only recipient here on the western side of the state.
Oh, wonderful.
So, yeah. So, but we had, I actually had scholarship recipients all the way up to Mountain City. I drove all the way up to Mountain City to give someone a scholarship award, and then we came all the way out here to Memphis. So we really crossed the state with that. So in looking at this year's awardees, when we have them, I anticipate they will probably cover pretty much the whole state of Tennessee.
That's wonderful. How are they selected, Doc?
Well, we always select our scholarship recipients on the basis of a written scholarship application that they can do from the website. So they can pull it off the website. It's very easy, where they talk a little bit about their goals and their aspirations, what their college experience has been so far, the degree pathway they want, and what they intend to do with that pathway. And then in addition, they actually go through several layers of consideration on paper, and then if they we look at their need. If they don't have need, they probably won't get a scholarship. So we want them to actually have financial need, but we also look at their academic progress to date. So we don't look at ACT scores because
Thank goodness, because I wouldn't.
That's right. Our average student can't get their ACT scores anymore, and so we don't look at that. And we don't even really look at high school GPA or anything like that because our average student is 37.
Oh, good.
So for most of us who've been out of school for decades, those measurements don't mean very much. So we look at students' past past academic experiences in higher ed. Do they have an associate degree? If they don't have an associate degree, we put them through some testing to look at their writing ability and reading ability and basic math, very basic math. And so we look at all those things. So then at the final stage of the scholarships, they actually call and do phone interviews with the top candidates and ask them in person to respond to a series of questions about, what they plan to do at WGU, how they plan to manage the 15 to 20 hours a week that they need to put into a program, and about what they plan to do with it, about their families and their careers, and how this will help them achieve their goals. So it's after that final interview that they finally sit down and decide who the winners of the scholarships are.
So Evans, what do you think was the determining factor in your selection? Do you
I
remember?
Hope it was my good looks.
I guess they had to send a picture.
I believe probably the fact that I had I'm actually an alum of WGU and finished my bachelorate there, and was turning it right around and trying to finish up this goal of what I call phase 2 of my plan, and trying to get my master's right away.
Yeah.
I would hope that was part of it.
How do you think your interview probably went extremely well, since you won? But what type of questions were you asked? Do you remember?
I really don't recall. I really don't recall. It was, I know it was probably, what are your plans for the future? Why are you wanting to go into this program? How do you plan on utilizing the scholarship?
To pay for my education.
Right.
To get out of my pocket and out of my company's pocket, and pay for school. So it was cool.
So what do you do right now, and do you think once you're finished with your master's degree that it will help you with advancement within your company?
Well, currently I'm a system administrator with a company in South Haven, Mississippi. My goal is to get more on the network security side and eventually move into IT management. With my company, the possibility exists, but I'm not limiting myself.
Smart.
So I will, hopefully this gives me a pathway to other to avenues not open yet.
I mean, IT security is a big deal.
Correct.
I mean, people are hacking into systems, so it's probably a very highly sought after career option. And so, good thinking, Evans. So Doc, tell me what makes WGU very unique in this very competitive higher education.
It is a competitive environment, isn't it? And I have been in both private higher education and a more traditional institution, as well as in public higher education here in Tennessee. But I will say that WGU Tennessee is the only competency-based university that exists, that is our mission as a university. Everything we do is competency based, which means that everyone in a program will take the same assessments.
Okay.
They will do several proctored examinations. They will write papers and do projects, and all those are graded anonymously by our evaluators, and they all have to meet the same criteria. So whether it's Evans or me or you, all of us have to get to the exact same point. But once we prove we can get to that point and have something that demonstrates competency, we are allowed to move forward. So the uniqueness of our degree plan is that students who are willing to put in the time, or who have the job experience that allows them to leverage that in their coursework, can save money by going through faster. Because we do not charge students for courses. We only charge them for time. So we charge them about $3,000 for a 6-month term, and during that term they complete as many courses in their degree path as they can. So it really gives the students a motivation to move quickly and go through the program, because every semester they're able to shave off of their degree program is money in their pockets.
Exactly.
So that there is no other university in the state that does that. And as a competency-based university, we're really designed for working adults who have maybe 20 years or more of experience. And being able to use that while they're in the degree program and then have that save them money on the back end, I think is what makes this the perfect university for working adults.
That's wonderful. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to close it out. So if you have any questions, please make sure you post them, and we'll go to the Facebook page and see, and we'll ask. You're watching Dialogue with Deidre. We'll be back in a moment.
Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. Their licensed professional pharmacists provide excellent service while filling your wellness needs. They have $4 generic plans and they accept all major insurance providers. And they even offer free delivery for senior citizens. At Taylor Brown, they pride themselves on the personal care and attention they give every customer. Ask about their uninsured discount pharmacy program. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. They're located 3333 Shelby Drive. Give them a call today at 901-794-3690 or visit them online, TaylorBrownGroup.com. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore.
I like to ride my bike to get some exercise, just kind of clear my head.
I like to ride because it's really fun for me and my fiance to go ride together.
I started riding my bike as a way to save money on gas.
I like to ride my bike mostly because it's fun and it's good exercise.
That's how I get everywhere. It's how I go to grocery stores, to go to work. It's how I go to my friend's house.
Sometimes I just like to not even have a particular destination in mind, just to see different parts of the city.
Just going through the park, you see people, and if you're on your bike, you can smile or say hello.
I own 5 bikes. The green Schwinn is my grandfather's bike, and every time I ride it, and he can be with me where I go.
I'm not burning gas, I'm not polluting the air. And in a way, it kind of gets me back to the kid in me, which is kind of cool.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave.
Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
The Carter Malone Group is a full-service public relations agency. Celebrating 10 years of being in business, the Carter Malone Group is located in Midtown Memphis and represents clients across the country. No matter what size your business, if you are interested in promoting your product or service and increasing your market share, contact the firm that can help you meet your goals. The Carter Malone Group. Call 901-278-0881 today.
Welcome back to Dialogue with Deidre. As we wrap up this part of the show, final thoughts from Dr. Estep. I want to ask her, so what are your goals for the next 5-10 years for WGU Tennessee?
We have a lot of ground to cover in Tennessee, and I'm just so honored to be part of the governor's Drive to 55 plan. So his goal is for 55% of Tennesseans to have a degree by the year 2025, which I realize is less than 10 years from now. That's coming up, and you know how that'll go by like that.
So fast.
So, when we launched, he said there are 940,000 Tennesseans in the state, almost 1 million, that have some college but have never finished a degree. So if we could just get 10% of those to go back to school, we would have more than we can handle. So really, we think even though we have grown from about 600 students when we launched the Tennessee WGU 2.5 years ago to over 2,500 students, there's room for more growth. All of us as colleges across the state, I think, are going to have to bring in all the adults that we can to bring them back to school in order to meet that goal. So if we could just have one significant part of that goal, we will, I would love to see us have at least 10,000 students by the time we were 5 to 10 years out, because that would tell me that we had really kind of changed a mindset here in Tennessee where adults really see education as a lifelong thing, not just something they do when they're young and then they stop, but something they continue to do as they move through life. Because really the economy that we want to have in Tennessee relies upon an educated workforce. So if we want to attract those high-tech companies to come and leave Seattle and come to Tennessee, we're going to have to show them that we have the kind of workforce that is able to take on those jobs. So it's an economic development issue as well as an education issue. So if we could have at least 10,000 in the next 5 years, that still leaves 930,000 for other colleges to jump in and do their part. And I'm really hoping that by the time we get out another 9 years that we'll see some substantial progress towards that Drive to 55 goal.
Let me just say, you are so right. I just rolled off of the Economic Development Growth Engine Board here in Shelby County, and it just broke my heart as we try and recruit businesses here. Some will say you don't have an educated workforce, and after recruiting, working with the state and the local governments to bring in, what's the big company over on President's Island that builds the refrigerators? Electrolux, thank you. Electrolux. There was an article after they had been here about a year that said, the workforce wasn't up to par from a technology standpoint. So I'm so glad that that's a focus and that's a goal.
It is our focus, and I'm delighted to see that Evans is working towards degrees in IT, because I know all over this state that is a need. That most companies I talk to say we need good IT people who have
definitely
not just the degree but also the certifications to allow them to do the hands-on work that they need. But we also have needs in the other areas that we offer. We need more baccalaureate prepared nurses to meet the nursing goals that hospitals have. We need more people who have MBAs and who can do accounting and finance, and we need more teachers, particularly STEM teachers. We need math and science teachers in the classroom, and some of those are going to be second career people. And where I think WGU Tennessee shines is we can take second career people and give them a pathway to licensure that is much more quick and is also less expensive than going back to a traditional teacher's college.
So Doc, before you get out of here, and then I have a final question for Evans. If you had to say what percentage of your bachelor degrees were in what area, would it be business? Would it be nursing?
Business is the largest, but education is very closely behind. And then nursing and IT are smaller colleges, largely because to get into our nursing college, you have to already have an RN, which means you already have an associate degree, typically from a community college. So that's a smaller program because not anyone can just join up and do that program. Similarly for teaching, or if not teaching, for IT, typically we want to look for about 3 to 5 years experience in the field, or some of the certifications that we embed in our programs like CompTIA and A+ and Microsoft, because we know that students that come in that have either the work experience or the certifications or both are much more likely to complete. Because it's a rigorous program, and there's actually 7 or 8 certifications embedded into every degree pathway. So we don't bring just anybody into that program either. So those are our smaller programs. But someone who's just starting out in their career and looking at, I need to finish a bachelor's degree as the next step, to me this is the best opportunity they've got.
So Evans, if you had to share with someone who is contemplating going back to college, what advice would you give them about WGU Tennessee?
First, I tell them every journey begins with that first step.
Okay.
You have to be willing to take a step toward your goal in order to meet that goal. WGU has been great for me. I've recommended it to a number of my friends who were in the similar situation that I was. A couple of them have actually enrolled.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
So, I mean, the program itself, for anyone that is seeking to either finish or get started, like Dr. Estep said, it's built for adults. You know, it's built for someone who has that goal, who has that mindset of, I need to get through, I need to improve, I need to make a better way for myself. WGU provides that.
So what did you say to your sons after you got that first piece of paper?
I bragged a little bit. I was like, yep, I beat you guys. What's the problem? What's taking you so long?
So now after you get this second degree, what are you going to say? It's time for them to really step up?
Yes, of course.
I love it. Okay, so Dr. Estep, before you get out of here,
all right.
You know, I would not be doing your PR company justice if I didn't let you share with our viewers, how do they reach out to you?
It is very easy to reach out to us because we're everywhere. As
Exactly.
an online university, we are where you are, and our students do the bulk of their work either in their home office or at their office at work. But they can reach us online is the easiest way. Just go to tennessee.wgu.edu, and on that webpage you can find the number to call if you want to speak with an admissions representative. You can find all of our degrees. We actually offer 50 degrees, just all in those 4 areas. They're targeted in just those 4 workforce areas, but we offer 50 degrees. And they can find out about scholarships by going to the financial aid and scholarship link, and they can find 10K, which is open until March 31st.
March 31st, viewers.
That's right.
I mean,
so that one, and that's our big one. We don't have anything that big the whole rest of the year.
Okay.
So that one is open until March 31st, but we'll have other scholarships throughout the year, and it changes, and they can always go in and take a look at what's available. And you know, if they have any questions, they just need to let us know, and we'll do what we can to help them.
well, thank you so much, both of you, for being on Dialogue with Deidre. You know you are always welcome back, anytime, okay? You're watching Dialogue with Deidre. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. Their licensed professional pharmacists provide excellent service while filling your wellness needs. They have $4 generic plans and they accept all major insurance providers. And they even offer free delivery for senior citizens. At Taylor Brown, they pride themselves on the personal care and attention they give every customer. Ask about their uninsured discount pharmacy program. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. They're located 3333 Shelby Drive. Give them a call today at 901-794-3690 or visit them online, TaylorBrownGroup.com. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore.
I like to ride my bike to get some exercise, just kind of clear my head.
I like to ride because it's really fun for me and my fiance to go ride together.
I started riding my bike as a way to save money on gas.
I like to ride my bike mostly because it's fun and it's good exercise.
That's how I get everywhere. It's how I go to grocery stores, to go to work. It's how I go to my friend's house.
Sometimes I just like to not even have a particular destination in mind, just to see different parts of the city.
Just going through the park, you know, you see people, and if you're on your bike, you can smile or say hello.
I own 5 bikes. The green Schwinn is my grandfather's bike, and every time I ride it, and he can be with me where I go.
I'm not burning gas, I'm not polluting the air. And you know, in a way, it kind of gets me back to the kid in me, which is kind of cool.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it. While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
I'm Dominique Dawes. How do you start your day? I always start with a healthy breakfast. Whether you're practicing for a game or studying for a test, eating breakfast every day can improve your concentration and help you perform your best. Kids who eat a healthy breakfast have more energy to work hard and play hard. That's why you should check out your school's breakfast programs. It's for everyone, so make sure you energize your day. Eat school breakfast.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay, but remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
The Carter Malone Group is a full-service public relations agency. Celebrating 10 years of being in business, the Carter Malone Group is located in Midtown Memphis and represents clients across the country. No matter what size your business, if you are interested in promoting your product or service and increasing your market share, contact the firm that can help you meet your goals. The Carter Malone Group. Call 901-278-0881 today.
Welcome back to Dialogue with Deidre. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a good, just great to see Dr. Estep, the Chancellor of Western Governors University for Tennessee, in the studio today, and Evans Duvall, one of the graduates in the IT area, just finished up his bachelor's degree and was fortunate enough to win a scholarship, the 10K scholarship, one of 5 scholarship recipients from across the state of Tennessee, to go on and work on his master's degree. So glad to have had them in the first part of Dialogue with Deidre. But before I came downstairs, or to the studio, excuse me, Eddie, not downstairs, but to the studio, for my show, if you are a regular watcher of the M1 network, then you know that Dr. Hutchinson with Black Thought had a group of students from Kingsbury High School and their technology center on his show. And I want to thank him publicly for allowing them to sit in and listen and to be interviewed by such a great show host, Dr. Hutchinson. And so they've had real life experiences today. They were able to come to the Carter Malone Group, which of course is my firm, and be able to learn from our team about what they do on a daily basis when it comes to public relations marketing, graphic design, web development, as well as government relations. So real life practical experience, you know. And so a lot of them who are thinking about going into marketing are deciding which part of the profession they're truly interested in. So it was great, and I want to thank Doc for allowing them to come in. So it's been kind of an educational day. And before we wrap up the show, a couple of things I want to touch on. One, New Hampshire. I don't think anybody can doubt, and everybody knows if you watch this show at all, who I'm supporting for the Democratic nomination for president. It is Hillary Clinton. And so I was watching some of the newscast, and young women have a problem with her. Young women, or women in general, a lot of women, and I don't want to just paint this brush of all women, but a number of women have problems with other female candidates. Bernie Sanders, great guy. Senator Sanders, a great guy. And you would prefer to have Senator Sanders as the Democratic Party nominee rather than Hillary Clinton, who has been the Secretary of State, who has run for office before, wanted to be the president 8 years ago, who has lived in the White House as a very astute, very strong partner when her husband Bill Clinton, who's coming to Memphis tomorrow over at Whitehaven High School, was in office, and even as the first lady of the great state of Arkansas, she was still trying to help her husband shape policy and build a better Arkansas, just like they did as a powerful team when she was the first lady and he was the president of the United States. I just want to put this question out there, and I really want to hear from young females or older females that have an opinion about this. Why is it when a very qualified female, and you cannot tell me that Secretary Hillary Clinton is not qualified to be the president of these great United States? Why can't we support them? I'm not being sensitive about it. I could be sensitive about it, but I'm not. Why can't we, or why don't we support them? To look at her numbers in New Hampshire, it was just very sad. And when the reporters were breaking down the percentages and they were doing the exit interviews of voters, and young women were the ones that specifically they voted for in the Democratic primary, were not supporting Secretary Clinton. We've got some work to do. We have some work to do. So I'm glad to see that former President Clinton is coming to Memphis. He will be in Whitehaven at Whitehaven High School tomorrow at 5:30. I believe that if you go to, there is a link, and I'll make sure that we post that link on the Dialogue with Deidre Facebook page, that you have to go in to register to be in the auditorium or the gym when former President Clinton comes to town. There is a primary. I want to say, Eddie, it might be March the 11th. I'll post that on Facebook too. I know that we have a General Sessions Court clerk race that's going on right now, and there is a hard-fought Democratic primary in that race, but you have an opportunity to vote for your choice for the Democratic nomination and the Republican nomination for president coming up on March the 11th. And I'd like to make sure that folk get out and vote. That is so important. And, If you don't vote, you don't have much to say. Let me just say that, because in this climate where you have a number of people trying to turn back the clock on issues that are important to this community, you need to be vigilant and pay attention to the issues. You know, there's no equity. Our current president, President Obama, fought for the Lilly Bedletter bill, made sure that it was passed to try and equity when it comes to women being able to be paid doing the same exact job that a male co-worker does. And normally they're paid, what, a lot less, let me just say that. And so to have that opportunity to have someone in office that believes in the things that you believe in and share the values that you share is important. So do your homework on these candidates. Anybody can make a great speech. Anybody can make a great speech. It's when you drill down to the real details of issues and be able to ask those questions and those candidates be able to answer them to make you feel like they're competent enough to lead. You know, you need to do that. Do your homework and get out and vote. That's so important. Just saw an article, it was sent to me by someone that is following closely the disparity in our local government, city and county, when it comes to minority and women-owned businesses having opportunities for contracts. Apparently there is an article that just hit, probably within the hour, where it shows that a former city councilman, Tom Jones, has made at least, I don't know if it was $13 or $18 million. I don't have the article in front of me, but I know it was more than $10 million in the last 5 to 10 years from the city. But when yours truly, Deidre Malone and the Carter Malone Group, had an opportunity to get an almost $900,000 contract, I think folks wanted to burn my building down. Eddie, they wanted to burn my building down, right? And it was for a 5-year contract. I'm telling you, folk, rather than sit back and say it's okay, you need to have a voice. You need to have a voice. It is not okay for Shelby County government's disparity study to say that 88% of the individuals that do business with Shelby County are white male-owned businesses. The other piece of that, white women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses have that small percentage. Is that okay with you in a majority African-American city, majority African-American county? It's not okay. So someone argued with me on Facebook, Eddie, and said, well, you know, the minority and women-owned businesses, most of them are sole proprietors and proprietorships, and you know, and then the flip side of that, someone said, is that that 88% of businesses that white males own that are doing business with the county, that they employ African Americans. Okay. Yeah, but if you look closely, because I used to look closely when I was on the commission, and you look at their leadership teams, their skilled labor, if you look at the leadership teams, mostly all of the leadership teams were white, either male or females. They didn't have any African Americans or Asians or Hispanics in leadership roles in these businesses. Is that okay with you? I'm just asking the question because that's what we do here on Dialogue with Deidre. We ask the questions to try and make you think. And our hope is that when you think about an issue, that it will spur you to do something else. Not just think about it, talk about it, have dialogue about it. And that dialogue can be with a number of people. It could be with, your pastor, but it can also be with the legislators that you elect. I sometimes don't think that you realize how powerful you are. A vote is a powerful thing. A vote is a powerful thing. You voting gives you the authority to walk up to Mayor Strickland, Commissioner Willie Brooks, Commissioner Eddie Jones, City Councilwoman Patrice Robinson, the chair of the City Council, Kemp Conrad, and say, you know what? You're here, you represent me. So it's important for you to understand what my position is on contracts being awarded to minority and women-owned businesses. Another thing that really disturbs me, and Eddie, you probably heard this argument before, and viewers, you've heard this argument before. When it comes to minority and women-owned businesses, well, are they qualified? Yeah, we're qualified. Do you ask everybody else that question? Probably not. So, I just wanted to give you something to think about. We're going to wrap up this show today. Thank you so much for being with us. We will be back here on Monday. And on Monday, we have an author that's going to join us. She's written a new book. And I'll post information about the book so you can be up on it and you can Google her and if you have any questions, she'll be in the studio on Monday at noon. We can ask her those questions. I want to say the name of the book is something about love and pain, if I'm not mistaken, Eddie. But we'll post it just to make sure. We just got the book in the office today, so I've not had a chance to read it or review it. But by Monday, we will know all about it. So thank you so much for being with us here today on Dialogue with Deidre. We wish you a great rest of your week, and we look forward to seeing you back here on Monday. Make sure you go to our Facebook page, Dialogue with Deidre, and like the page. Comment on our show. Let us know what you think, and if there are any topics dealing with politics, the community, education, and healthcare that you're interested in, then let us know, and we will make sure that we cover that topic right here on our show. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.